Hey buddy, have you ever wondered why the dollar is so strong? Why are other countries treated like they're nothing? And why is the dollar preferred everywhere? Even legendary resources like oil, gold, and import-export are traded in dollars. Why can't they be traded in yen, rupees, or other currencies? Have you ever wondered, if a country goes against the dollar, is it like going against a nuclear power, advanced technology, and a strong military? Yes, there are some countries like Iran that have faced multiple sanctions, and Russia has also tried to avoid the dollar. As a result, they were restricted from the SWIFT network. So in this video, we will explore the history of the dollar, the Saudi contract, the SWIFT network, and sanctions. Section 1. History. In the early days, people traded using paper notes, which are called fiat money. Some people even call it fake money. But think about it, why would anyone trust a piece of paper? The reason is simple. It was backed by gold. For a certain amount of paper currency, you could get a fixed amount of gold, something real, something valuable. Different countries had different gold reserves according to their currency. The UK had the most gold in the early 1900s. It was powerful, dominant. But then came World War I and everything changed. The UK started losing its gold rapidly due to war expenses. Meanwhile, the USA stayed neutral, calm, strategic. It sold weapons and goods to other countries, and slowly, silently, its gold reserves started rising, becoming the highest in the world. After the war, countries were desperate. They used their gold to import goods just to survive. The USA saw this and got worried. What if the world goes back to the barter system? What if the entire financial system collapses? So in 1944, the USA made a bold move. It called a meeting of 44 countries and introduced a new financial system. A system where global trade would not depend on multiple currencies, but on one, the dollar. And here comes the big promise. The USA said, for $35, it would give 28.5 grams of gold. This changed everything. Now, countries backed their currencies with the dollar, and the dollar itself was backed by gold. Trust shifted from gold to the dollar. The USA knew the world was broken after the war. Economies were destroyed, so it stepped in like a savior, offering loans through institutions like World Banks and the IMF. But there was a condition, a very smart one. Loans would be given in dollars and repaid in dollars, a quiet move, but a masterstroke for the future. Imagine this. If Japan wanted to buy goods from China and paid in yen, China might hesitate. What would China even do with yen? But dollars meant gold. Dollars meant trust, so China would happily accept it. Slowly, the world stopped trusting each other's currencies and started trusting only one, the dollar. But then things started to change. Over time, the USA began printing more money than the gold it actually had. And this created a dangerous situation. What if all countries suddenly came and demanded gold in exchange for their dollars? The USA wouldn't be able to handle it. The system could collapse overnight. So what did the USA do? It started controlling the gold market, carefully managing demand and supply, trying to hold everything together. And then came the biggest shock, 1971. The USA made a historic decision. It stopped converting dollars into gold. Just like that, the world was stunned. This moment is known as the Nixon shock. But the USA didn't let panic spread. Instead, it gave a new option: invest in US bonds, earn fixed returns, stay connected to the system. And just like that, the dollar didn't fall. It became even stronger. And that is how the US dollar took control of the global economy. Section 2. Saudi contract. In 1935, Saudi Arabia discovered that it had a huge amount of oil. But there was one big problem. It did not have the technology to extract it. At that time, only Europe and the USA had that power. So the USA stepped in, providing the technology and teaching them how to extract and sell oil in the market. And just like that, this became a jackpot for Saudi Arabia. It had found one of the biggest oil fields in the world. From here, Saudi Arabia needed two things: oil extraction technology and strong military support for the country. Because if the USA set its base in Saudi Arabia, other countries might think about attacking. Saudi Arabia wanted security, so that it could run its oil business without tension, without fear. Then came a powerful proposal. The USA told Saudi Arabia, "We will help you with extraction technology. We will give you security. But there is one condition: you must trade oil only in dollars, and not accept any other currency." Saudi Arabia accepted this deal. Why? Because it needed the technology, and it trusted the dollar. At that time, the dollar could be converted into gold anytime, making it feel strong, safe, and reliable. And this is where everything started changing. A new rule was silently created. If any country wanted oil, it needed dollars. That means every country had to keep dollars in its reserves. And everyone knew oil was the most powerful resource of the modern era. Just imagine this. If Japan offered yen to Saudi Arabia for oil, it would be rejected. But the moment you offer dollars, the deal is done. Seeing Saudi Arabia, other countries also started trading oil in dollars. Slowly, silently, the entire world began to follow the same system. And this system got a name, the petrodollar. Petro means oil and dollar means money. And just like that, one decision, one agreement didn't just change a country, it changed the entire world. Section 3. SWIFT Network. Have you ever listened about the SWIFT network? When you transfer money from one bank to another, it's not like money is physically sent through a vehicle. Only digits change electronically. For this, we use an IFSC code for domestic transfers. But for international transfers, there must be a secure network that shows how much money to send and receive. This system is called the SWIFT network. Let's take an example. Suppose Modi wants to send money to Singapore. First, he needs the IFSC code and the SWIFT code. If your bank is directly connected to a Singapore bank, the money can be transferred directly. But in most cases, they are not directly linked. In such cases, there is a correspondent bank, usually in the USA, which takes the SWIFT code and IFSC number, converts the money into US dollars, and completes the transaction process. This system is called the SWIFT network. If a country is removed from the SWIFT network, it means it is cut off from international transactions. There will be no foreign funding, and imports and exports will stop. If it stopped, YouTube income stop due to this. It is like a financial nuclear bomb. This whole system operates under the SWIFT network. That's why the USA can remove any country from it. The USA has removed countries like Russia and Iran in the past, which causes heavy loss to this economy. So this is how the dollar is used as a weapon. Section 4. Sanction. The USA's dollar weapon is stronger than its military in some ways, as it can put a country's economy on the ground. This is mainly done through sanctions. You may have heard many times that the USA puts sanctions on countries. There are mainly two types of sanctions, primary and secondary. In primary sanctions, people and companies should not trade with that country. Once US companies step back, European companies also step back. And due to this, that country's share market starts falling. Foreign funding gets stopped, and companies in that country cannot make profit or transfer money to other countries. For example, Russia faced primary sanctions due to the Russia-Ukraine war. In secondary sanctions, if you trade with a country which has sanctions on it, that country also faces sanctions. It is isolated from the international market. For example, Iran has large oil reserves and low prices, but no one is there to buy. This creates inflation in that country. This is how the dollar is strong. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Now tell me, how is your currency in front of the dollar?